Hi everybody. Can everybody in chat see us? I have my chat up. My stuff might be a little bit bright because I was whenever I do this in a Discord call, all of the programs to control my camera aren't very good except for OBS. So my camera looks really good with OBS, but like this, it is really bright and looks really weird, and so yeah. So if I look really pale, it's because I am, and I normally change everything in OBS to make myself not look as pale. It's
Oh,
weird.
that's so. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, listen, lighting and everything, it makes the difference.
It
So,
does.
yeah,
It really
this is why I
does.
wear sunglasses because my lighting is too bright for me.
Yep.
So, there you go.
Mine is too, and I just did what was it? The Long Live the Lich Living World Season 4 Episode 3 with Joko. And you go through this cave and it's all like these really weird colors. Can barely hear MM. All right, let me turn them up. There we go. Um so it has like all of these greens and purples, but then for me I was getting like splotches of light because I have one light like right here, and I kept accidentally looking at it and then looking around, and all of these like lights would pop up everywhere, like I was giving myself almost like a migraine. It was really bad.
Oh,
um
yikes.
yeah, but anyway, I'm so excited that we finally get to have this podcast. I'm so sorry
No,
about the rescheduling so many times.
oh yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, no, I remember we talked about doing one a little after a couple months ago, and then
Yep.
I've just been busy. I mean, we've had End of Dragons, we've had so many things to do. So yeah, no, glad to be on here. And maybe see what we learned today.
I'm excited. I have a lot of questions that I'm not even sure if you'll be comfortable answering, and I'm not even sure if I should ask about gold making, but I don't care. I'm excited.
Ask away, right? Ask away.
Well, I first wanted to start with all of your links and where you're currently posting all of your content, because I believe when we first started talking, I was on your podcast and you were just looking into doing some more stuff with YouTube, and I see that you've been doing more stuff on your YouTube as well as stuff on the Hard Stuck YouTube. And so I wanted
Right.
to ask you about that and how that's been going. So,
Uh, yeah. Hello. For those that don't know, I'm GuildMM, sort of like the richest player here. Now that that's out of the way, yeah, I've been streaming for yes a year, 2 years now. Been a little inconsistent last year with work and COVID and stuff. And yeah, recently also have been posting on my YouTube a lot more this year than last year. Still kind of new. I consider myself new in this whole streaming and YouTube content creation uh, place, but it's really fun and I love to do it. So try to make as much as I can. Um, so I specialize mostly in gold making, trading, and things like that. That's where I played most of my time in Guild Wars 2 at least, and it's kind of been fun. And this year I've been focused on just I'm known as like just that like one rich guy, so I tried to change some things this year and tried to do a lot more different things, such as hosting, say things like fashion contests, Griffin showcase, beetle racing, just like fun community events. And then also going through a competitive side, which is like, hosting like a GVG tournament, which is like two guilds where they fight in a 15v15 format. And something like a fractal speedrun tournament, which we just did like a little over a month ago. So I've just been having fun trying to do different things for the community, and I think the main thing that I've found with my channel is just to do things that kind of bring people together, the community, whether it's like a tournament, whether it's a competition, whether it's something to do with charity, which we've also had something going on there with gamers outreach. So just do fun things honestly on Twitch and see where it goes. And yeah, I do want to do more on my YouTube because right now is just my real life is so hectic that I work two jobs and like I work for a business and I also have my own business. and the streaming. So, something has to give out there. So sometimes my YouTube is not as consistent as I want it to be, but hopefully I can get that consistency going. Who knows? Either myself or maybe, hey, hire maybe someone, an editor to help me out with it because, something has to give there. So,
It helps.
but
I
that's where I'm
just did
at.
that.
Oh, you
It's
just did that.
I
Nice.
just did that. I can definitely say that it really does help. Like and I was actually just going to ask with all of the things that you're doing, and we will get to all of the gold making stuff as well soon. But just with all of your doing, how do you not get burnt out? Like, especially with being so into Guild Wars 2, with like making gold, with putting all of these things together and doing so much for the community, as well as the jobs that you have. Is there like something that you do to help you not get burnt out? Do you play other games? Do you purposely take a certain amount of time off, or is there a secret to that?
I honestly don't really like sitting and staying idle, so it's hard for me to like sit still and take a break. So I always like try to do something. And maybe I guess you could say like, how do you like maybe unwind or something, or like even just have a small break in your day? Like I consider like maybe having your dinner or your lunch as your break or something like that, or if I feel a little burnt out from something, I will maybe try to maybe lessen the amount of time that I'm putting into that particular thing, and then focus energy on something else that could maybe be better for my health or something. So in general, I think it's hard for me to maybe give myself a break. I try to just do too much. So I just keep going, I don't mind it, and when burnouts happen, it's usually like maybe at most I felt like a week or 2 weeks. And if there is a situation where like I have to like let go of something because I just cannot put it in my schedule, then I'll gladly like, put it aside because maybe there's other priorities that have to take precedence first. So that's how it does. And yeah, sometimes Red Bull drinks, sometimes a lot of caffeine helps. Actually, coffee most of the time is what gets me. So there you go. Coffee is my secret.
Guys, that's a huge secret. You should be taking notes. So when did
Or
you
5 cups of
first
coffee.
start playing Guild Wars 2? And when you started playing, did you always have this mindset of that you wanted to be the richest Guild Wars 2 player there was?
That was not really my mindset. So I mean, most of my time as a MMO player, and my background is more like I played RuneScape. When let's say old school RuneScape because that's what people remember in 2004 to seven. I played Guild Wars 1, World of Warcraft from release until Wrath of the Lich King. And I played Black Desert Online when that came out. And I played Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2 consistently. Like, I've never quit this game. And at the most, maybe I've had a few months or maybe a few weeks of a break at a time. But I think I've always played this game in every single year since their release. But trading wasn't really the main thing when I played Guild Wars 2. It was sort of like I've done it in other MMOs. I sort of was a trader in World of Warcraft. I was kind of that in Guild Wars 1 and RuneScape. But they weren't my main things. Guild Wars 2, I just had fun with it because I wanted to see, well, I kind of do enjoy it. Let's see if I can go ahead. And so I don't think the idea of being like the richest ever came by until maybe 2014 or 15, when I saw that like, oh, like I am getting to the point where I could actually be in that conversation. And at the time there were people like way richer than I was. So, it just became a thing where I kind of focused on that. And around, I would say maybe 2017 or 18 is where I think I was sure that like there was no one else ahead of me. Right. Now, not counting if there's a whale, like whales can just spend a lot of money in the game, and that's a different scenario. I was more focused on being the richest through only in game. So yeah, I think 2017 I thought, or 2018, something around there. I think I realized like, oh, like I don't think there's anyone that's passed me at this point, or I passed whoever could have been at that point, at least from the people I've known. And so I've been since then the richest. So unless someone else comes and takes the crown, there you go. But yeah, it just kind of became a thing, and then eventually it came to be that like I've done it enough, and I had enough confidence in the people that I've known, traded with, things that I've done. It just, felt like, oh, I could be in that conversation, so why not? So, but yeah, that conversation didn't actually end up being a reality until, 2017, 2018, which is a good 5-6 years later from the release of the game. So, I had to work to kind of really get put up there. So there you go.
So speaking of having to work to get to that point, would you say that gold making in Guild Wars 2, now that you've done it for some time, is easy? Or is it a bit more tough to get the hang of, especially if you were a new player?
I think in general it's easy. And it, again, depends on what you want to do. Like if you're looking to do if you're looking to get into like the stuff that I do, like which is, going to involve some sort of spreadsheets at some point, um a bit more detailed things, like you're going to look at an item and then look at like 5-6 different ways that you can make money out of that item. I think if you're going with that mindset, it's overwhelming. And unless you have some agenda for having 100,000 or 200,000 gold, which I don't think a lot of people need that much money in the game. I think it's easy. You can get into making a decent amount of money, like with 50 gold, 100 gold. You can even like make money just playing the game. Like you don't actually have to go overboard and like, figure out which items to buy and sell and, create all these difficult processing techniques. So, I really think you could just play the game and you could make money and you can make as much as you want and get all the items that you want. It's more of you need to learn how to save. Just don't spend the money, right? If you get 50 to 60 gold today, learn to save half of it all the time. And then, you'll at least be able to get something like a couple hundred gold a week just by saving the money that you don't spend. So yeah, no, I don't think it's difficult. I think there's different things that are difficult, right? If you're going to, like, there's this one method called unidentified gear processing, and to do that, you will open up the bags. I'm sure you know what unidentified gear is at this point, right? So you open up the bags, and then there's contents in it, right? Like weapons or armors, and basically you can extract all the runes and sigils that are in those weapons and armors and figure out what to do with those, right? Like, do you sell the runes or sigils? Do you salvage them? What do you do with the armor after you've salvaged everything? Do you salvage that? Do you sell to the vendor? Like, you have to figure that stuff out. Obviously, it's a trial and error until you find out what's more profitable, what's not profitable. And things like those are very difficult because those are detailed and they require a lot of like, you need to follow up on your costs and stuff like that, like your salvaging costs, how much you spent on the unidentified gear. Like when you're forging, when you're selling to vendor, you need to compare. So those are going to be detailed, but like simple stuff such as, hey, I'm going to buy mithril ore and I'm going to refine that into a mithril ingot because maybe for some reason you speculate or you think that maybe something comes out that's related to that. Those things are easy to do, and I think a lot of people just kind of underestimate the amount of stuff they have in their account, and they don't realize that you can make money off of anything. It's just more of save than spend. I think that's the mentality people think about. How do I make this much money? But it's also you need to save just as much as well. So
this is what you do, isn't it? This is like this is your job, isn't it? You do something with economy.
Secretly, yeah. I'm secretly like the ANET economy game developer. So there you go. You've caught me red-handed here.
But the reason why
I
I
don't
was
get paid for it, though.
asking is because there's actually quite a bit of people, and even in my Discord, that will talk about like the different things that we need for because we're trying to max out our guild. And people will talk about, the items that we would need to contribute in order to do that. And some people are like, oh, that's really, those things are really expensive. Like, I can't afford it. And then there are other people that say, it's really not that tough when you set your mind to it. Like, it's really not bad. And so I was actually just curious, coming from someone who does that and actually just like makes gold and spends it on gold sinks because you're having so much.
Oh, you know about my secrets. Yes, my I think it definitely helps when you have people who I think I do. All right, bad. There we go. A little bright here. I think it helps when you have people who are like kind of helping you collaborate with things like that, and that's kind of the thing why we started this Discord. We have a Discord called the Overflow Trading Company, and it is a sort of trade Discord, farming Discord, a Discord to also or different like people who have their own experience in money making can teach people and help them. And the whole idea is collaboration, right? Like if you have an item and you're missing something, someone out there has what you're missing, and you can maybe make a deal with them. And this is what we try to establish, is that like work with people that are close to you, like your friends, your guildmates, and find counterparties to trade with to get the items that you need. And then just like making things happen, right? Like, so, like you've gone through the process of like building up your guild hall. It takes a lot of materials, resources, and a lot of time. So that doesn't happen unless different people are coming in and contributing different amounts of things into the guild, right? What they can supply and everything. And of course, whatever they can, right? Like if someone is literally giving everything that they own on their account, then that's maybe not the best of advice, but everyone's putting in something and helping this greater goal of getting the guild leveled up and everything. So I think it's you just got to realize like, oh, like if I don't have this, what does the other person have, and vice versa. And I think people usually think that trading is a individual mindset, like you just kind of have to be on your own. You figure, and for the most part, yes, you are figuring out most of the things on your own. No one will tell you exactly this is the item that you'll make money on. And anyone who does is probably out there to get you, because I can give you like a process of what to do, but I can't tell you like exactly what you should invest in, because like what works for me doesn't work for you. And if I give you like the item that I'm making money on, then I'm just inviting you to come in and take the item that I spent maybe time finding out that it makes money for me. So for on that mindset, it is, everyone to themselves. But you could still collaborate, right? Like you could still talk to someone like, hey, I'm looking to get something like this going. Like I need this much money. This is the materials that I have, but I'm missing this. You have this. Can I buy this from you, right? And then negotiate a price there, right? You can still do things like that. So I think people usually miss that.
And obviously, with all of those things in mind and not wanting the competition and things like that, and having certain things that may work for you but not for someone else, is there specifically, let's look at this as almost a guide. Is there something specifically that you could tell someone to look into as a beginner who wants to start actually investing and saving that they should do, if you want to let everybody know?
Yeah. All right, so I'll give a couple methods, right? So first, I'll get into the base part of it. If you want to make money, it's pretty simple. There's one method, and literally everyone does this every day. It's just play the game. You can make a decent amount of money through a lot of game modes, actually. So you could do your T4s, your CMs every day, your fractal T4s, your fractal CMs. That can get you anywhere from like 25 gold to 50 gold. And that depends also on your fractal title, right? If you have, I believe if you have like fractal god, and it's like, you have to kind of grind for that title. But eventually when you have that final title, you are easily making close to 50 gold on fractals. And that's like in 45 minutes, an hour of your day, maybe. If you farm some farming trains, there's some pretty decent ones. There is the Living World Season 4 meta train that's farmed on Overflow, and I'm sure other Discords have picked it up as well. There is the Drizzlewood Coast farm, and those like will give you your materials that you could save up. And of course, by no means you're making like 100, 200 gold, per hour, but you are making decent 25, 30 gold, which is absolutely fine. And it's just for playing the game. You don't have to do anything, tedious or difficult. So you have fractals, you have the meta farms, and then you could do things such as PvP, like the daily ATs give a good amount of money. If you are placed in a decent amount of, if you win a decent amount of games in the daily ATs, you will actually make a good amount of money. You can make like 30, 40 gold as well for an hour. And if you win, then it's like maybe 50 gold, which is also not bad. You do get mystic coins out of those. And I will probably put it in for like the regular stuff, and anything else that you do. in open world is probably making anywhere from 15 to 30 gold. So not that many things will make over 50 gold. But when you get into, all right, like if I buy this item, or if, hey, what do I do with the stuff that I actually farm from all of this playing the game? Like, all right, well, if you are sitting on a lot of T6 materials, let's just say you. Oh,
Everything okay?
yeah, it's all good. We just
Okay,
have
just wanted to
guests
make sure.
in the house, and so like I have to go help with something. Um, all right. So yeah, I was explaining about the different types of money making for beginners. So I mentioned the fractals. You can do your T4s, your CMs, and you can farm those a day and get in like anywhere from 25 to 50 gold. That depends on your fractal title. And that's consistent money, right? Like if you do your T4 CMs, like that's 45 minutes, an hour of your day. If you're someone into that kind of like, CMs do require some effort, right? Like it can't be just you can't auto attack or mash buttons. You kind of need to follow rotations. So, but that's content, right? Like that's you're doing something. And then of course, if you're doing open world, if you're someone who prefers open world, there's Drizzlewood Coast, there is Living World Season Meta Train, and other ultimate meta. I mean, hey, Hardstock actually just recently came out with a meta train of their own as well. So, like open world in itself as well can get you anywhere from 25 to 30 gold, sometimes 40 gold if there's peaks on some things, and that's more related to updates, maybe spiking something in the system. So open world in general will get you a decent amount. I think maybe the lowest you can get is maybe 15 gold, and that is Silver Waste, which is a very easy farm. It's like literally just running around the circle in the map. Now, the question that people kind of go like, okay, well, that's not enough. Well, how do I make more of that? So the mithril ore, the T5, T6 materials that you farm, all of these ectos, unidentified gears. But what do I do with all of this, right? Like I farmed all of this. I made roughly this much an hour just from open world. How can I make that better? Well, you can make that better by like, if you have mithril ore, go check how much is mithril ingot, right? Like I think right now it's something like a silver 18 copper or silver 19 copper. And if you farmed mithril ore, like it takes 2 mithril ore to refine into 1 mithril ingot. Mithril ore usually sells for anywhere from 39 copper to like 60 copper on the trading post. So that could go anywhere from 80 copper to a silver and 10 to like actually like refine, right? The cost. If you're farming it, then you didn't actually spend any money, right? That's your farming is your time is what you spent, right? If you find that, you say you have like enough mithril ore to do like, I don't know, 5,000 mithril ingots. I mean, like you can literally just refine them and then list them on the trading post. Don't insta sell, list, by the way. I've seen people who literally just sell on the trading post, and it's kind of like there's a lot of items that like you could just list and it will sell. It will take care of itself. No one goes on the trading post and looks at an item and it's like, oh, that sells for like a silver 18 copper. I'm going to wait for someone to list something at a silver and 10 copper. Someone who's going to insta buy something on the trading post is just going to insta buy. They're just going to drag the mouse up and click buy. They're not going to be bothered about a couple copper or even a couple gold. But that's things that you could do with like your materials that you farm, like refine them, maybe upgrade them into their higher tier. I have a lot of T5 mats. Well, T6 mats are used for legendary making. Why don't I convert the T5 mats to T6 mats? Then maybe sell those on the trading post, or hey, maybe use them to make a weapon, right? So it's actually, I think people just don't understand that like if you farm all these items in the trading in your trains and like CMs and whatever content that you're doing, you could literally like just find a way to make them better, right? Like do stuff to the stuff that you're getting. Don't just go trading post, insta sell, or even just less the bare minimum of things. Like there's different things that you could do. And so this is why I think people maybe don't think that they make as much money is because they're actually giving it away, right? They're insta selling, or they're not figuring out like, what do I actually do? Like, can I upgrade this to a higher tier? Is this part of a recipe that I can find out? And maybe there's something better at play. I think people just don't do that effort. And it's not something that will take you an hour. It will take you maybe 5 minutes to Google something and wiki something, right? So I think that's what's missing. And then when you get into the higher level money making, like if you want to begin into that kind of stuff, if you want to like make money on the trading post, I think 50 gold is fine. 50 gold, 100 gold, you can make some money with that. It's not going to be the best of money, but you can make something out of it. Like you can say, I'm going to go today and buy all of the base materials, right? Like your gossamer, your silk, your other types of metals, right? Like their base format, like your wood logs and stuff like that. And I'm gonna figure out a way if they're profitable to refine, and then I will sell the refined product. So like your log gets converted to a plank, your ore gets converted to ingot, like whatever metal or type of wood that you're getting. And so on and so forth, right? So you can get things like that done and then list them, go about your day, do something else, go play the game. And then while the thing is selling, you can come back to it, see if it's sold, get your gold, maybe put in more buy orders, continue playing your game. Or if you're just logging off, then you're just logging off and then, do the same thing the next day. In my advice, if you want to get into money making on the trading post, don't go for expensive items. Go for something that is going to cost you very little, but you can buy in mass quantity. So low cost, high volume. The reason for that is because most of those items probably get bought and traded on a daily basis, right? Like that there's a lot of people that will buy the types of metals, right? Different people will be buying a lot of wood planks and things like that. Those are being bought on a daily basis because those are usually what people need or legendary armor, legendary weapons, and other things that they need to use them for. So buy stuff that is always in demand and is going to not cost you that much, because at the end of the day, it's going to sell. And if you buy something that costs 500-600 gold, the chances that something that costs that much gets sold like 100 times a day is very little, right? Like something that costs 500-600 gold probably just gets sold 10-12 times a day, maybe. Same with something that costs like now 2,000 gold, like a legendary weapon. Probably only a couple weapons that get sold on a daily basis. So go for things that will sell, actually keep selling every single minute of the game. So buy them, do stuff to them, right? Figure out if they're something that you can make out of a recipe, or upgrade them and just sell the upgraded material. And that's 50 gold, 100 gold. It's obviously you're not going to be making like, out of 50 gold. Like if you made, let's just say, what's it called? Out of 50 gold, if you made 5 gold profit, don't look at the 5 gold as like, that's nothing. Like that's a lot. Like you made 10%, 10% return on that 50 gold. That's pretty good. If you got 5 gold out of that 50, that's great. Slowly it's going to build up where you get like 100 gold, you make 10 gold, then 200 gold, etc. And then sometimes you're going to find items, and because you're investing in a variety of items, all your money is not locked up in one thing. Like you have all of this, like 5 to 10 items that is selling because they don't cost you that much. So you can put money everywhere. And if something gets locked up, you can rely on the other 5 or 6 items that you have, right? So start with that. Now, obviously, if you have 500 gold, 1,000 gold, it gets easier. The more money you have, obviously, the easier it is to start making more money. You need money to make money. So yeah, that's what it is. And my advice is experiment. It's a trial and error process. Like it's not gonna be 100% the same day. Like your day 1 and day 20 of doing this is going to be drastically different. You're going to learn things that, oh, this item doesn't sell as much during this hour. So maybe I don't buy this during this hour or sell this during this hour. Like you're going to learn details that you'll only know if you actually tried it. So
what would your advice be? Because you talked a lot about farming and not having a lot of expenditure doing things yourself and having that time. What if someone's argument was, I don't really necessarily have that much time to put into the game, but I do want to make a lot more gold? What would your advice be in that, in that area?
If you don't have time to play the game, then I would probably have to look at what priorities do you want to do in the game. So Are you someone who maybe is looking to get like a legendary weapon done or working on legendary armor? Um, then I understand time is a factor. Some people, maybe work a lot of long hours and things like that. So then maybe consider doing something that you will enjoy. Because my main thing that I want to also mention is do something that is fun. Don't do something that you're gonna feel a burnout from. If you do something that's fun, then it doesn't feel bad. So prioritize something that you do that's fun, and then maybe at the same time can give you a decent amount. Obviously, if you don't have enough time, that's gonna be very difficult, to be honest. If you're not someone who plays like a regular amount, I don't know what's a regular amount, but like like on average, like maybe you play a couple of hours a week or something. If you're not someone who can do that, and your time is limited to maybe an hour a day, then do something that you can manage your time efficiently. Maybe today you're like, I'll do the CMs and T4s. That takes 45 minutes. Maybe even a little less than that with a very good group, actually. Um, Maybe today I do some meta train. I can't stay for the entire 3 hour meta train. I'll stay for 1 hour. So maybe find the moment where they're going to be in the most crucial part of the meta train, like the very good maps that you just cannot miss those maps. So yeah, I mean, again, like if you're someone who's on very little time, it's definitely going to be difficult. I would say if in that case, you kind of will need some sort of money making investment, because that's unless you're patient and unless you don't mind building up something to save on the side and then use that money to invest. And I would say if you're someone who's just not patient, and honestly, if your real life is doing well, it's okay. You maybe buy a couple of thousand gems in the game, right? Like, spend like $10 or spend uh $50 or something, if it's not too much out of your monthly paycheck, and put it into the game if you think that's going to be worth your time to get what you need. Um, so yeah, I mean, there's things that you have to be realistic, and I think if you don't have enough time to really play the game, it gets difficult to build anything in the game without having to maybe use real life income into it. So I think in that case, if you're okay with putting a couple bucks in the game, then go ahead. I would say that that's the best advice. And if you don't want to do that, then just manage your time efficiently in the game. If you only have an hour a day, and prioritize what you're going to do for the entire week, and then see what you have to save to get what you want.
And with that said, especially talking to someone who actually prioritizes gold making and farming and does it in that way, how do you actually feel about the idea of being able to purchase gold in game? I've talked with a couple of people about it, like some new people, and obviously there are varying answers, but coming from someone who does that, how do you feel about it specifically?
Um, I didn't like the idea at first, but I don't mind it in Guild Wars 2, because Guild Wars 2 has a lot of good syncs in the game to balance out everything. There's a lot of gold syncs in the game. I mean, ecto gambling is the biggest one. If you're an ecto gambler, I've met a lot of people who are, addicted to that kind of thing. So I think Guild Wars 2 manages to balance the economy out with a lot of gold sinks, a lot of time sinks, a lot of material sinks, and so it's not that big of a problem. And of course, the biggest gold sink is the tax on the trading post. There's 15% tax. Anytime you list an item, there's a 5% listing fee that you can never get back. Even if you delist the item, you'll never get back that 5% listing fee. Every time the item sells, that's another 10% for the sell fee. So there's 15% that goes away, and that sinks, well, it takes a lot of like the gold out of the economy and balances it out. So yeah, it's not too much of a problem because ANET knows how to balance their economy. I think this game has the best economy in my opinion. Out of all MMOs, this is the best one.
That is actually a lot of people have said that they don't mind it, but that is the first answer I've actually gotten that talked about the tax and the sinks in the game rather than anything else. So that was really cool. Because I feel the exact same way. I like the idea that it reflects very closely to our actual economy. And so there are a lot of
Mhm.
things that you could take from the game that you're working on, and you could almost incorporate them to help you save or like make money in the real world. So
Yeah.
um And with that
Yeah, I
said,
think I learned a lot as in this game as well. So
oh yeah, absolutely. And there are quite a few people who actually do that. They take all of these like algorithms and all of this math that they've done just outside and then incorporated it into like even just, when you should buy gold or when you should buy certain items, and it's really interesting. I don't think I could ever like get into it that
yeah.
much, but it's neat that you're able to do that. And I agree. I think it's one of the best systems that I've come across too. Um but in regards to harvesting, is there a specific item that is really, really good to harvest to sell just as a material? A lot of people have been talking about onions recently. I don't know if that's a joke or a meme, but a lot of people have been talking. I don't know exactly what that means, and now the light is completely in my face, so I have really nice splotches all over it. But
um onions. No, that was actually a meme, I believe, started on one of Teapot's Tea Times by Nike. Um, and I think he was saying something about like if you're not bothered to learn a rotation in raids or even watch a video just to learn how to do a raid, then I don't know, go farm onions in Queensdale or something. I think he said something like that, and that became a meme. So he ended up just taking the meme too far with the video. He put more fire to it. So no, I think if there's so your question is like you want an item that you feel like you should convert to gold, is what you're saying, or what was exactly the question?
yeah, so rather than actually farming for a certain material and turning it into ingots, is there like a specific item currently without any actual production, just a material that you would sell that people would buy a ton of to make their own or to craft their own items? Like, is there something that sells really, really well, like better than anything else currently that you can just harvest?
Okay, so not exactly to the specifications that you asked for, but ectos are the best thing. They're a very stable item to trade with because they barely go up and down a lot. There's like a range of silver that they're usually at, anywhere from 18 to like 24 silver. So not too bad, but they're more stable than a lot of other items you could trade with consistently. So that ectos I think are like kind of like a currency that you can trade with that are going to be good and also used a lot in different money making, or not money making, but different crafting parts of the game. So yeah, ectos.
And speaking of the trading post, and this is a question I've actually had for a while and not asked anyone because I wasn't sure if it was okay to ask. How can someone like wreck the trading post? I've heard that constant where people are like, these TP barons wreck the trading post. So first of all, I don't really know what a TP baron is. And secondly, how can you just single-handedly wreck the trading post?
All right. Well, I'll tell you one thing. All right. So I'll get to the whole someone can destroy the trading post bit in a thing. That's actually a pretty a good story. Is actually big drama. Had content months on it. So in terms of like one person, if it's through in-game means, no one can actually destroy the trading post. No one is big enough in the economy. Like I am 1.6 at the moment, 1.6 million liquid gold. That's items that I could sell on the trading post at any given time, plus the raw gold that I have. And that's nothing. That's nothing compared to what's on the trading post. And when you have everything else in the economy combined, like it doesn't really matter if you bring 20 of me, right? Like it's really honestly not feasible to like try and destroy a certain market in the game without losing money. It makes no sense at all. And anyone who says that the TP barons are manipulating prices and things like that, like if you were to like, keep Mystic coins up, which was like this is the drama I'll get to in a bit. If you were to keep Mystic coins at a certain price, like say you want them to always be over 2 gold or 2 gold, 20 silver, the amount of money you have to keep every single day to, outpace the amount of buy orders that go through, like, you have to compete with the entire player base. So like let's say you need to throw in 20,000 gold every single day to keep the price up. That's 20,000 gold that you're going to keep losing, right? And it's not realistic when you add up the numbers. 20,000 gold, each single day, like multiply that by like a month, right? That's 600,000 gold. So 600,000 gold. Do you know how much the average Baron makes a month? Like, or okay,
I have no
say the
idea. I
average,
really don't.
uh, the average trader, and I will say there's only maybe 5 people I know in the game besides me that make this much money a month. Anywhere from 50 to 80,000 gold profit a month. That is as high as it could go, and that's counting on a lot of things going well for you those months. So, like, I think realistically, maybe at most, if you really push things and then you had a very good month, you'll make 3,000 gold profit a day. So that's maybe 90,000 gold. And so it's not realistic when someone tells you like a baron can manipulate the trading post for months. Most people can't even make that much money. No, and only a few people will make 50 to 90,000 gold on a monthly basis, and that's not even every month. That's maybe one good month out of the year or something. And then like there's other months you'll make an average 20, 30, 40. That's fine. Again, not realistic to be able to just throw in 20,000 gold every single day. That's half a million gold in a month. That's kind of outrageous. But the thing that people were talking about, that barons were manipulating the prices, has to do with about something that happened a year ago. And a year ago, there was a player. Will not name the player, but people know who he is in the chat for those who kept up with this. And he was branded as some sort of big trader, big time trader. And he started coming up in around, I think, 2019. And then in 2020, it was believed that he was about a million or something. So he was about like near my area, like about a million. People were even making jokes like I'm gonna be overpassed and stuff like that. So I was like, oh no, well I guess my time's up. So there was a tournament that Teapot threw. It was called Masters Arena. It was a PvP tournament, and I had put in 220,000 gold in that tournament, like as a sponsor. Like I gave that much gold towards that tournament for the prizes. And this other guy, he put in also a roughly the same amount. He put in 200,000. And then Enko, who is another trader, he's not here. He's enlisted. He's in the military right now, but he's also a big trader. I would say he is a huge amount of knowledge. He has a huge amount of knowledge in this game, in how processing is done. He's a very good player to talk to about that. So if you want data specific conversations, he's your guy. But Enko put in also 190,000 gold. So the three of us combined pretty much funded most of the prizing for this tournament. It was, I think they had like about 730,000 gold raised up, but me 220,000, the other player 200,000, and then Enko 190,000. About like 600 plus just came from like 3 people. Now the thing that happened was after the tournament, it took me quite some time to make that money back. I mean, 220,000 gold is a lot of money to put in, to just throw in for a tournament. And same with Enko. That was also like months of preparation to put that money in. And after the tournament, it happened in around, I believe, May, if I'm correct, sometime in May. After the tournament was done for, I kind of got busy. Like I was still streaming, and then I kind of got busy and took away, some things happened in my real life, and I wasn't on the game anymore. And then I came back in November, and I believe Enko was still playing, so he was still fine. No, sorry, I came back in September, and then in September, I'd heard that the other dude who allegedly was around a million is now all of a sudden worth like 8 million. And I was just like, okay, that's kind of weird. Like, how do you make that much money in that short of time? Like, that's not possible. And so I had a few question marks, and there wasn't really any solid answers to honestly, there's nothing to explain how someone can go up from million to 8 million unless like they spent $1 million in this game or something like that. Like that's unless someone actually spent that much money, like that'd be a really rich whale or something. So I was like, okay, whatever, sure. Enko, on the other hand, I think said something like only in November or something was he actually able to recover everything that he put into the tournament in May. So, and I also like around February of this year made all the money back that I made that I put towards that tournament because, you know, I wasn't even playing after the tournament. I kind of took a break and then came back late in the year. So it takes a lot of months, right? Like if you're making an average of 30,000 gold a month, right? That, you know, like 5-6 months, you're only going to make back 150k, 180k. Like 220,000 gold isn't like, oh, like I'll make that back tomorrow or I'll make that back next month. No, like 220,000 gold is like I'm going to make that money back 6 to 8 months from now. Like you'll make back the money that you actually spent. So that person, instead of like making that money back, was easily able to, like, I don't know, quadruple their net worth, you know, like from 1 million to 6 to 8 million or something by the end of the year. And then by the start of this year was like around 16 million. Whereas me and Enko, who are, which I believe the part like from the other 3 other traders, like are the best money makers in the game, only took, you know, only recently made our money back like 6 to 8 months after the tournament. Like something doesn't add up there. So some things happened. Some people reported that they were involved in real money trading. Those that don't know, real money trading is when you buy items of a game in another website that are not official from the game. So, you know, it's illegal. You're breaking the terms of service of the game if you're doing something like that. And we banned that player from the Overflow Trading Discord, the Discord where people trade in and things like that. And in retaliation, they decided to, you know, I guess crash all the infusions. The infusions were selling at 23,000 gold. Like these infusions, you can't get them on the trading post. You have to find players to buy them, and they sell for 20,000 gold, 30,000 gold. And this player managed to crash them by all of a sudden, like 80 or 90 buy orders of these rare infusions dropped in, and all of a sudden an item that's worth 23,000 is now worth 6,000 gold, 7,000 gold in less than a month. So people were like, oh, like this dude's not playing, like he has a lot of money and stuff like that. And eventually we had to unban him because there wasn't, to be honest, enough proof to justify that they were maybe RMTing or something. It's just not enough, but like we know that there's something fishy, but we just don't know how to explain it. We unbanned them. We're like, okay, well, we'll find something else to catch them on. So we unbanned them, and that player also started buying up Mystic Coins. Mystic Coins at around late 2020 were around the gold 60 silver, 70 silver, and this dude managed to spike them up by placing buy order walls that put them over 2 gold. It was like an artificial wall. Like this dude just put up, you know, millions of gold into these walls, and it was Mystic Coins were now worth 2 gold plus 2 gold, 20 silver, even close to that. And people kept trying to, you know, say like the Barons are making a market play, and I don't know what. The people just shaming the Barons for manipulating the trading post, and it was like there's literally no reason why anyone who's into money making would do something like that. Like, and 3 million gold is a lot of gold. Like, how do you even have 3 million gold to just put in buy orders and not worry about? Like, it's not feasible, right? So that's what happened, and it became the norm, and people were used to like 2 gold, 20 silver was the regular price. That's it. That's the regular price for Mystic Coins now. And then sometime in around like April or May, I believe, this year. So months after November, months after we'd unbanned them finally, and they were back in the community. This person in 2021 started to stream, and in one of their streams in May, they accidentally leaked their bank. And so I think I still have the file somewhere. So I still have it somewhere. I could leak it to you now here in the Discord. It's not really a secret anymore. You can find even cases of it. But they leaked their bank by mistake, their guild bank, not their bank, their guild bank. And their guild bank showed a couple of items that was actually impossible to have that much from. So they had like 500 or like almost 2,000 chalk eggs. They had like 500 conures. They had like the most expensive and the rarest infusions you can ever get in the game, but to the point where like unrealistic amounts of them, like that there's no way you would have this unless you did something. I'm trying to find it actually. If someone someone can send it. But yeah,
I'm not
anyways,
even sure if I want it, honestly. It's like
no,
bad juju,
you,
man.
you need to see it. It's something else. But so that happened, and yeah, like there was also a particular item. It's called Blackline exclusive chests. Now these chests drop. They've only been active, I think, for the last few years, and they drop once a week. Like literally, like you can get them once a week. Oh, sorry, once a year in 1 week. Like they're literally a thing for 1 week, once a year. Maybe for a couple of years it's been going on, but literally 1 week, once a year. That's all you can get for these Blackline exclusive chests. And again, they're a rare drop, so you might not even get them with the amount of Blackline keys you can gamble for them. But this guy suddenly had like 2,000 plus of them, which is like it doesn't make sense. Like this item literally is included in the Blackline chests once a year for 1 week, and this guy had 2,000 of these exclusive chests, and that was actually the number that also drew people around. Like, what the hell is that? So, um,
That's so
so
much.
that's what.
Like,
And yeah, so basically, we figured out that this dude was duping. Like the story of it is like he was duping, and all the money that he was making was all duped money, and we reported it to ANET. Eventually, it got handled with, and I can't confirm if the person was fully permanent banned or anything, but they haven't been an active presence. At least I'm sure they're still around or something. It's not really that hard to get back in, but they duped, and that was it. Like that was all that explained everything that happened from November till that month in May. Like they just duped a lot of money. They just figured a way to do that, and that explained all the mystic coins and everything. And then ANET handled it. Like it was a big thing. It was like the whole talk for like 1 week on Reddit. So,
I have
and then
kind
some
of
people still, yeah,
an
yeah.
odd
Go ahead.
question to go off of that. So we had talked about before, as kind of I was memeing it because hashtag Reddit. It's fun to pick on the Reddit and people being silly in the Reddit. But when we had posted our stuff for the charity, and you had said, "Well, people dislike me anyway for being rich." And
Oh
obviously,
yeah.
like it is a joke, but like there's some truth to things like that. And do you think that this possibly started coming about because of this person, even though you guys like had helped with them finding out like what was going on in Arena and understanding him? Like, do you think some of that had come out of this situation?
No, not really. Maybe it kind of fueled it, but I don't think so. I think it's just a norm, and it's not exclusive to Guild Wars. I think in every MMO, traders are usually hated, just because like they, I mean, like literally like have a lot of gold and usually don't do anything with it. Like so, it's kind of like it's such a waste. Like, why do you have all this money? Like, you don't even do anything with it. So I think that kind of hate is just there anyway. Any MMO, if you're, I'm sure anyone in any other MMO who's in that kind of playing of being a trader and stuff like that, they probably get the same amount of stereotype of like, yeah, barons must be evil, manipulating TP, and sure, maybe this situation did fuel it a little bit. And even after like the person got found out that they were duping all these items, I mean, people still like to kind of poke and say, maybe that's not the full story still. And, but you can't change that mindset. So, I don't really care much for those people. Yeah, listen, if you like someone, you like someone. If you don't like them, you don't like them, you play the game that you like to play, and I play the game that I like to play, right? Like, some people like the PvP, raid, farm, open world, whatever it is, yeah, whatever you get enjoyment out of, that's it. So, I get enjoyment out of like talking to people, trading with them, maybe helping them out, and then maybe they help me out. And of course, I play the game anyway in my free time, but I just like the trading part of it, right? Like I also do love this part of the game that is, really to me is interesting, and to a lot of other people is interesting. We have a whole Discord for it. So yeah, I think just like, yeah, play the game that you like. Gold making is not even a priority. I people like to talk about like it's only possible because of making money and specifically spending 5-6 hours looking at a spreadsheet, and like you can actually play the game and make a decent amount. So just have fun. Just do what you enjoy, and I'll do what I enjoy. You don't have to make hundreds of thousands of gold a year. Like it's if you don't enjoy it, then what's the point?
So you're not evil, like some people say.
Yeah, I'm not evil, like some people say. Uh, maybe in some cases, but that's maybe just being a businessman.
Right. So I actually did have one question from chat that, again, I'm not sure if it was a meme just because I had a lot of questions that I wasn't sure of that I wanted to ask because I don't play the trading post. Um, but if you get like a precursor for a legendary and you're not currently working on that legendary, does it make more sense to just go ahead and sell that? Or should you like wait out finishing the collection, even if that wasn't something that you were working toward and sell stuff later on?
I mean, if you don't ever see yourself making that particular weapon, then sure, go sell it on the trading post. But I mean, if it's a weapon that you might want, even if you don't think of it now as a priority, I just keep it, to be honest. So yeah, if you don't want it, if you don't really see yourself ever making that weapon, sure, go sell. If not, then keep it. Who knows? Maybe you want it later down the line. You'd be like, oh, I wish I didn't sell it.
And you had mentioned that it's easy, like, going on the wiki or Google to see how much things are worth and such. Is that something, a practice that you have, or have you gotten so used to the difference between actually crafting something or salvaging it versus whether or not you should sell it on your own because of experience?
It's a mix of things. I think there's some things I still probably Google just to like check on, just to see like I can't memorize all these recipes, but so I probably just like check on some recipes, go on wiki and see if it's something that makes sense. Some kind of just like come to mind that is kind of like I've done it for so long. I kind of know the stuff that I need for it, but yeah, I still wiki stuff. That's fine. For websites. For pricing, there is one particular one that I would recommend in chat. It's called gw2bltc.com. This one shows you like the graphs on the prices of items. So you can look at the history. It can go up to like, I think since the start of the item until now, and then you could like filter it to 3 days, 1 month, 1 week, etc. So that's a website that I use a lot because if I want to compare the price at what it was, let's say a week ago or a month ago, in case it's an item that kind of fluctuates a lot, then I will look at the price on the website. So gw2bltc.com is a good one. Another good website, and this one doesn't really get thrown out as much, and I think it should. It's called Guild Wars 2 Silver Res's website, and it basically is similar. I think if I can throw it in the chat here. It's basically a website that helps you as well with tracking things in your inventory and allowing you to kind of download a lot of the things in your inventory into a spreadsheet, and then you can, from there convert the file into proper format where you can link it to the game's API, and it will update the prices for you. So that's another good website I'd recommend for that kind of stuff. And then there's last but not least, and this is probably the best website in Guild Wars 2 in my opinion, and it's called Guild Wars 2 Efficiency. And this website just tracks everything, like anything you want in your account. Look at achievements, items, whatever it is, recipes unlocked, skins, everything. This website tracks everything for you. It tells you what you have and what you don't have that's missing. And it also gives you like recipes that you could look for. It tells you like if you're making a weapon, like how much of your own materials do you have to make the weapon, and then what's the difference for you to go buy up and things like that. So those are the three websites I would recommend for players. But yeah, no, I look at stuff on efficiency or wiki or bltc.com. I don't memorize everything. Some things I have to look at, and whatever is left over, if it's something quickly that I could just pull up a spreadsheet, like I have it on my spreadsheet maybe, and see like, okay, this is how much I paid for it, and then this is how much I need to make money before I sell it or something. So so it's a mix of those.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That was actually going to be my next question, if there were any other websites other than Guild Wars. So that's incredible. And I actually had another question from chat. It's so we heard about the sunglasses today, but the crown, when did that start and why has it continued?
Um, so actually, the sunglasses is with the crown. They both came together. It's a pretty old story now. I mean, it's been a year. So around like I believe sometime June or something, I took a break, and this was after that tournament I mentioned. Um, and so I had just two jobs. I was working in the pandemic from home, but then I was also there's a lot I was juggling. There's like work hours, trying to get things done, even though I'm working at home, and then I was also not eating healthy and things like that. So eventually, I ended up getting a heart attack in sometime in August, and because of that was I was just unhealthy. I was like eating at like 2 in the morning, just stuffing myself with burgers. Kids waking up at like 1 p.m. and drinking coffee at like 7 p.m. or something. There's just a lot of unhealthy factors that contributed to me getting a heart attack. And so I was away, even further from the game when I was already away. Did surgery. They replaced me. I got replaced a valve, and now I have a mechanical valve. So I'm like an Iron Man now. I am very much running on iron. So there you go. I came back to the game, and before coming back to the game, I kind of hinted on my Twitter that I was making a comeback a little bit. I was just like leaking pictures, like honestly, like the most random things. I was just like throwing out like an artwork that I had commissioned for myself. And people were just like realizing like, oh, I'm actually going to be back or something. Because also my Twitter was inactive for some time. And I put in a date and everything, and then I was like, I want to maybe make something different. Like I just want to meme with something, so I looked at a crown. It came up as an idea, and I was like, why don't I get a crown? So I looked at Amazon, and I saw this crown for like $10. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna buy that. Like I even thought of going for something very magnificent and things like that, and I don't know, like just extra. But then I was like, you know what? This one is $10. It does the trick. It's kind of memey or something. I don't know. So I bought this one for $10. Um, the sunglasses is a bit more related to actually to early on. Now it's not, but early on, the sunglasses was actually related to more of my recovery from the operation. So after surgery, and anyone who probably has had their chest ripped open or something and then stitched back up. So you know that they probably move you a lot in the surgery, right? Like you probably your hands or whatever, like like everything's like up here or something. The doctors like move your body while you're asleep into weird positions, and you don't feel any of that like in the surgery. And obviously, when you wake up in the first week or two, you don't feel any of it because probably still on a lot of those medications. But after maybe the first week, you do start to feel just like this pain that you cannot describe, and it starts from more in the nerve, like here, like from the neck down to like your arms, your hands, your back. Like it's like you can honestly, I wouldn't wish this pain on anyone. It is brutal. So you feel a lot of that pain, and it just stays there for like an hour, 2 hours. Even if you're on medication, sometimes like pain meds, sometimes even that doesn't really do the job. So um, I got the glasses because if I was gonna stream, pain sometimes can happen randomly and I can't control it because it's just, like that's what you have to deal with in recovery. And so I bought it because like if I was streaming and like my eyes would wince because like the pain would be a lot, like I would probably wince and people would catch on that I'm actually in pain. Um, so I got the glasses as a cover to continue streaming. And people wouldn't know if I was actually in pain or not. Like unless if someone saw me like trying to move too much, like they'd know that like there's something up. But the glasses was just to show not show anyone that I was like in pain, so no one could see my eyes wince or anything. So and then now they become a staple, so I just keep them on the stream. That's the story.
Makes you look like a baron for sure, coming into someone's
Yeah,
stream with sunglasses and a crown on. But oh
it's
my god.
definitely not the origin story people would think of, but that is actually the origin story of both of these items. So yeah, now I just keep it because yeah, like it's become kind of part of the stream, and I even have channel points people can request. If I don't have the crown on, they can request it, and I'll put on the crown for some time or something. So there you go.
So on a a lighter note, oh my gosh, I'm over here like wincing
That-
as you're talking about the pain, and I'm like, oh no.
I feel like that took a turn for the worse, but no, I mean, like, hey, it's an origin story, you know.
Yeah.
That's my Iron Man origin story. So there you go. That is the true origin of the sunglasses and the crown.
So with the trading post being the part of the game that you really like to play and that you really enjoy, do you have a pet peeve about it at all? Like, is there something that really drives you nuts and you have to talk about it, or it really just does bother you?
Yeah, whenever people like open up the trading post and instant sell the item to the first buy order, that is probably the biggest pet peeve I have with the trading post. Because like, if you need, I don't know, if you really need the gold that instant, like for some reason, like you just can't wait or whatever, fine, sure, maybe I'll make an exception. But I see a lot of people like instant sell materials, like things that like that stuff's going to sell. Like if you literally list it, it'll probably sell in the same second that you could have listed it for. That's the biggest pet peeve, because you're still getting charged the 15% tax if you instant sell. Like that doesn't change. Like whether you instant sell or you list the item, the tax is the same for everyone. And so if you're selling an item on the trading post, just list it. You know, hey, even if you just list it by like 1 copper below the other buy order, do that. Like it will sell. Like don't worry about like, oh, it will stay there for 50 hours or something. Like unless you list something at a price that's ridiculous, that sure, maybe it will, but most part it should sell. And the other pet peeve maybe is when say like an item is selling at a gold, let's just say an item is selling at 90 silver, right? 90 silver. And you list your item at 89 silver. Sorry, not 89. Yeah, 89 silver, 99 copper. So now the next person for some reason comes up and instead of listing their item at 89 silver, 99 copper, or 89, 98, they go ahead and list the item for like 70 silver. And it's like a huge jump in the price downwards. And it's like that I don't understand. That also is a pet peeve of mine. When I see people like cut the price down by a lot, and it's like no one looking at the trading post is going to be like, oh, I could save like a couple copper or silver on this if I buy it at this price. Like, no, if someone's instant buying something, they're just like open it up, click, done, buy. You know, like they're not waiting for someone to list at a better price. That's what buy orders are for.
It's actually funny that you mentioned that, because that's one of my pet peeves too. And it not even in Guild Wars 2 necessarily, because I haven't really done much in Guild Wars 2 with the trading post, but like when I used to play WoW, one of my big one was inscriptions. And at the time when inscriptions were actually really utilized rather than just for like something cosmetic or whatever, and you had to have them to be able to pull the biggest DPS. Like there was a big in slot, best in slot inscription, and they would sell for like a ridiculous amount of gold, and then someone literally called himself like the people's scribe or something like that, and would put them
I
up
think I
for
heard.
like
Wait, yeah.
2 gold, and I'm just like, no, like no, what are you doing? Like this is the one profession that I've actually tried to level to do this, and you're, oh, it's
Yeah.
one of, oh. So I feel where you're
Yeah.
coming from.
That is what it is. Someone in the chat said there are times where I do instant sell because there is a higher than bottom one. The sell orders seem to just be going down and down, and I won't sell any month soon anyway. Yeah, if that's the case, you could maybe like wait it out, so then maybe list it later in the next, you know, like you said, like if you're not gonna sell within the month anyway. Um, but yeah, if you maybe you really just need to get it sold, or for, in that case where the difference is maybe not that much and you don't really care for that difference, then sure, you could do that. Absolutely.
Is there ever a time, so like let's say we have, there's a holiday, like you know, we're doing stuff, Mad King, or like the winter, like the Christmas event is going to be coming up. Does it make more sense for like bags or items that you would get that people would need, or would need to like purchase something? Does it make more sense to actually sell them during that holiday, or to wait and hold out until after?
Yeah, so seasonal events are actually really consistent, and those are like maybe your. I won't say anything's 100% sure, but like those are like very like okay, you know you can make money because you know these items sell. Um, so you sell most of the items on seasonal events like Halloween and Winter's Day the first day, first and second day, because that's when they're the most expensive. The longer you wait to sell during the holiday, the lower the price gets because people are literally in that holiday season farming that item. So it's natural that that item drops in price during its holiday. So then, if you miss the first day or two, then you maybe have to kind of wait on that item until after the holiday sells. So like say someone needs to buy Winter's Day bags in the summer, for example. Obviously you can't get Winter's Day bags in the or Winter's Day gifts in the summer because that's a seasonal event. So you could sell them there. You'll make more money than the event itself because the event produces them anyway. Yeah, there are instances where you would wait. There's a few items I can't mention because they might actually uh, they could actually go up, and I'm kind of invested in some of them.
Right.
But there are items that like yeah, you will have to sell in the holiday as well. It's not just after the holiday; it is during the holiday as well. Absolutely, you have to find out. There is like for example, this one I don't think I can. Yeah, this one I can spoil. So in Lunar New Year, which is in around February, right? Um, there is this thing called lucky envelopes. So people usually like actually buy those and they wait until after the holiday to, or just the last day of the holiday to open them up with a lot of luck and stuff like that. And these go for like about a gold or something like that. Um, and there's two ways to get them. Like you could either get them through the vendor, which I believe sells you 8 a day. Like it's a cap every day for that event. So every day you can only buy 8. If you have alts, you can buy more. And it's for gold. And then like you could wait to sell them a little after, which they will go for a bit more, like a gold 18 or 20. Well, that's not too much of a profit. So it's not the best way to do it. You could probably make money selling it to someone else. Um, and there's another way to make money or to buy them is like you have this thing called Essence of Luck. I think people are aware of what luck is in the game, right? Like you consume your Essence of Luck to get you more magic find. So a lot of people actually save up their luck because there is a vendor that will take your luck and give you these envelopes, and you can do it that way. So those are like just like for example, that's like one item that I think everyone probably like if I spoil it, no one really is going to lose money on it. I think because like also you need kind of some money to throw in on it. So and a lot of luck to be honest. So but yeah, no, Winter's Day, Halloween, all of these festival items, like they do have some items that you'll make money on during the event, but then most of the money comes after the event because those they don't exist anymore. Like you can't, for example, now farm trick or treat bags because Halloween's over. So maybe in February or March, people might want trick or treat stuff. I don't know. Maybe they need the bags for something. Maybe they need the candy corn for something. You can't get them without Halloween, so you have to go to the trading post, and gradually the price goes back up because they're getting consumed by people who maybe missed that week or that month. So yeah, for example, Festival of the Four Winds is another festival that is more related to the infusions. And in Festival of the Four Winds, there is a box called the Zephyrite Supply Box, and the supply box it gives you a bunch of items. There are some T6 materials. Oh look, dog.
Yeah,
Very
it's
good dog.
Eddie, my little black and tan hound. Sorry.
Yeah, he's like, I need attention now.
He's handsome.
So
And he's gonna try to get he loves peanuts. And so he can smell everything through like the little bottle that I have over here.
yeah,
So he'll just
now he's
knock
just like
everything over. Yeah, like that.
the knock. Yeah. He's basically telling you like, yeah, I want some of those peanuts now. So I
Exactly.
like it.
But go
Um,
ahead, the Festival of Four Winds.
yeah. So like, there's like the Festival of Four Winds. It's basically an event where you get to do some activities. There's some activities that you get to do and have fun in. But the main thing, the money making part of it as well, is to do with these supply boxes. The Zephyr supply boxes, you buy them from NPCs, and there's different ways that you can trade them. You can trade them from festival tokens. You can buy them through materials, actually. So the event is also like a material sink because like for example, I can't remember the ratio was this year, but I think it was something like to buy one Zephyr supply box. It was like I think 2 ectos or something, or something like that. It was actually like cheaper for you to do it through crystalline dust. But there's like material sinks. Like you could buy the boxes through different types of materials, and so people try to go for like the cheapest way to buy them until it kind of evens out at the end. And in those boxes, there's like rare stuff. Like, you know, there's T6 materials. You can get a chance to get like other stuff. And there's a very rare chance that you can even get one of those infusions, like the chalk infusion, the liquid beryllium queen bee, you know, etc. Right? Like the confetti. And so with that being said, sometimes in that event, there is a high amount of those infusions coming into the game because people just get lucky, right? So a couple of those infusions come into the game from people who are lucky. But then also materials spike up. So in particular, ectos, because a lot of people just trade the ectos quicker. And so ectos can skyrocket up to 26 silver, 27 silver, just because of that event. And so it makes sense for you to store a lot of your base materials for Festival of the Four Winds, because once that festival's out, people are buying those boxes to gamble for a chance to win those infusions or whatever, right? Or even for science, like some people. So, you know, data and stuff. So you save up your materials for that. So that's an event that's actually not even more, I would say, relevant to the event itself, like what it can give you, but more that it actually affects base materials that you spend on a yearly basis, like make and craft stuff with. And that event like literally like offers you the chance to make money on that because it will, you know, spike up those items and prices because people are trading them for those boxes.
So speaking of ecto, I know that it's, you know, something that you could, a material that you would use for crafting, and there's a ton of stuff that you can do with it, but people were talking about regular ecto gambling, and then gambling to see what you could throw into the Mystic Forge. So what are items that you would be looking for? Is there like a specific recipe for the Mystic Forge? And other than luck, is there a way to actually like seriously ecto gamble, and how does that actually make you a profit?
Ecto gambling does not make you a profit. Don't gamble. So, um, yeah, no, it actually doesn't make you a profit. You will, unless ectos were at around like 40 plus silver, I think that's where it would be profitable. But nah, it's not profitable. So don't ecto gamble. But I know people gamble in the forge for different reasons. You could use ectos are actually used to get one of these infusions called the Mystic Infusion. That one you have to go through the forge if you don't get lucky with like, yeah, that one's purely forge related. So you have to go to the forge and gamble ectos to get the Mystic Infusion. And this is why this infusion is a little tricky, because if enough people are gambling for it, it could drop up to like 5 gold. Sometimes even like, I think at one point it was even 3 gold. Like 3,000 gold, sorry. 5,000, 3,000 gold. And when people are not gambling enough for it, for some reason, in the forge, it's currently like, I think 7,000 gold right now, 7,000 gold, about that much. So that one is based on the activity of people on the forge. Another way you would gamble on the forge is for Mystic Clovers. Mystic Clovers, as people might know, are a material used for legendary armor or legendary weapons. You need Mystic Clovers for your legendary weapons. Your Gen 2s and Gen 1s both require 77 Mystic Clovers. So you have to gamble for them. And there is a recipe for that. I believe it's 231 coins, 231 ectos, and then you need roughly 200 spirit shards, and then the obsidian shards. And there's 2 recipes for that. There is the recipe where you could roll 10 at a time. So maybe you get lucky with 10 Mystic Clovers, but you consume 10 of those items that you're throwing in. Or there's the one method recipe, which is like you're literally just rolling for a chance at 1 Mystic Clover every single time. So I think the one method is better because there's like more rolls. So in chance there's a higher amount that you can get the 77 better. So that will do it for that. And then the rest of the Mystic Forge gambling is mostly on precursors. There's recipes that involve the forge, but I wouldn't call those gambling because they're like actual recipes. You know what you're getting when you're throwing in the forge. Um, but people gamble for precursors. Now, I think it's purely RNG based. I don't think there's any formula to it. The only way to actually know how much you have to throw in to actually get what you're looking for is to just have a huge amount of data collected, which I only know one person, maybe two people who actually have that data, and yeah, that's really it. And at that point for them, it's not even gambling because they know how much they have to throw in to get those items out, and it's a lot. It's
Right.
thousands of them. So yeah, I mean, I don't advise someone to go into the forge to make money because you won't know how to make money off of it. In that sense, like if you're gambling for precursors, to other people it is gambling. To someone like Enko or Yender, Yender is also another big trader. It's not gambling. They know how much they're gonna throw in to get the precursor that they're looking for because they have a lot of data collected, right? Um, and so, yeah, I wouldn't advise making money on the forge for those specific reasons. If you go through recipes, I think there's probably some recipes. If you look hard enough, you'll find something that you can maybe make money on. And maybe look at the item. Is it something that people actually buy, or is it just one of those random items that just costs of gold on the trading post, but then no one actually buys them because they don't have a purpose. Like if you look around enough, you'll find something. But I think the whole point is always look around, like always find around. You might find something no one else actually like figured out yet, or maybe you found something that other people used to make money on, but for some reason forgot that it still makes money. And hey, you might be the person that take advantage of that. So yeah, highly, I don't do much on the forge, to be honest, on my end. I don't like luck and I have very bad luck. So
Gotta save it up in game.
yeah, I mean, I have to fund all these things that I'm doing, tournaments, giveaways on stream. It's yeah, that's basically it. That's actually the purpose of what I mostly put most of my money at this point in, is like since I started streaming, it's like I just put it towards the stream. So now like it kind of justifies why I need to keep up that much money, because I do give away a lot of it, and how I do sponsorships to other people as well. Like I help someone else's stream out, or something on the side, or when it's like a massive tournament that Heartstuck's doing, I contribute on my end. Um, so it gives me reasons to throw the money somewhere. So
Speaking of which, do you have anything coming up that you're really excited about that you could tell us about already? As an event or something that you're working
so,
on with Heartstuck?
so right now, I am working on future projects. The closest ones are sure, like for the end of the year, I have actually a fractal bounty event that's coming up on Wednesday, November 24th. Actually happening the same day as Guild Chat, and which is bad timing because like they announced it like because of the Thanksgiving week. So we'll see. Maybe I'll pull double duty on that. But yeah, fractal bounty is basically uh, we're going to roll for like a CM, and we're going to roll for like a T4 fractal. And then teams will basically have about 2 to 3 weeks to grind those CMs or T4s and submit one entry that is their official log, and the fastest speed clear wins on either the CM or the T4. And so that will be coming up November 24th, where we actually announced which of the CM or T4 that they're going to speed clear for. And then they'll have up until December 12th to submit their submissions. And that's when we're actually going to announce the winners once we go through all the submissions. And the reasoning for that event is because after the fractal tournament that I ran with Heartstuck, it was clear that people wanted more of this. And a lot of people kind of felt that I was actually just coming in and doing these tournaments, and I wasn't actually doing anything after the tournament. Like I did the GVG, and then wasn't going to do anything after that. But the whole point I wanted to do the Fractal League was like, because there's already a raid league, there is another thing set up for raids. I wanted to do something for the Fractal community, and I'm working with like a very good guild that is known as Discretize, who they actually have a website where most people probably get all their Fractal builds from. So Discord guys came up and helped me with setting up all of this after the tournament. And so I'm working with them and making sure that like I bring in people who are passionate about these game modes. And that's like the key thing that I try to do with all the things that I run, is that I bring people who are passionate about the game modes that I'm running, because like that's the best expertise you could get on board, right? Like the people who actually play that content every single day are just so motivated for it. And so the Fractal League, November 24th, will be setting up our own league, probably monthly league, maybe bi-monthly. We'll see how it goes. But the first introduction of it will be November 24th. And then we have me and Sneb. I don't know if this is a Heartstock event, but Sneb and I, it's actually his idea. And then he's kind of just asked if I'm free for it. Maybe you could be a part of it. It's basically a hide and seek. It's a hide and seek event where Sneb will hide and I'm going to collaborate with the viewers to go find them. So we're going to go find Snapchat. So yeah, and we're looking to see if like anyone, actually you're in the Discord, so you could see that in the back end Discord of Heartstock that he's asked for input on the event. And so it could be a Heartstock thing. We could all just be like, all the Heartstock streamers just find Sneb and everything. So
wait, so like
yeah.
throughout the whole map or like anywhere, is he gonna give clues?
Yeah, it will be like per different maps. Like there'll be, I believe, I don't know how many maps he has in total, but like it's a bunch of maps that he will do every round in. And so like if you win in one map, then you don't, like, every person who finds him in one map will get a prize. If you found him in map 1 and then you found him again in map 2, you don't get another prize, but the points will tally up, so then you could still win the overall big prize, basically. So that's partly how the setup is, and we're still perfecting it. We're still not even done announcing everything, but that's happening. It might be something we just get everyone on board and Heartstock with it. Who knows? We'll all find Sneb, and we'll see how that goes. So that's December 4th.
Suggestions for that. Like, if he found fashion that would be super close to like Where's Waldo, and like wear that, and then like the artwork have it be like Where's Waldo, like that would be so cool. Where's Snap? Oh my gosh, I wouldn't even
that's
think
actually
of that. That's so cute.
Yeah, you know what? If you can kind of blend into the environment, that would actually be even better. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. It's I feel like it's like fun to do these events because like I feel like I've done so many of these serious events and stuff like that, and I feel like the fun ones, honestly, hey, like it's just you get in there, have a good time, and everyone's enjoying it. So you know what? That was gonna be something, and we'll see. I think that should do it for me in terms of this year. I do have plans to do some tournaments next year, but that's a story for next year. But those are the upcoming things: the Fractal Bounty League on 24th November, the Hide and Seek with Sneb on December 4th, and we'll see how that goes. And then the last thing that I'm doing for the year is possibly a celebration stream, maybe or not. I don't know, because I got partnered with Twitch on around June.
It's a little late,
I think. Yeah, I mean, I partnered with them around June, and I haven't been able to throw like a celebration stream for my partnership. And I recently hit 10,000 followers, and I kind of just want to just do something for both of those milestones together. And I'm still planning a stream. I've just been so busy with other stuff. I felt like this could maybe take a small backseat, but I do want to get it done. And so, yeah, I actually took your advice. The way I did it was I applied towards like so the funny thing is I applied at the start of around like June. You told me apply around the start of the month because that's where likely they're looking at applications. And I actually got accepted maybe on the third day of like since I sent in the application, and I never looked at it. I never saw the email. I don't know why it went. It just got like bottomed out, and then like I looked on like I just searched Twitch partner on like my email, and it showed Twitch partner, you've been accepted into the partner application. I was like, I've been waiting for like 2 weeks to hear an answer, and I actually was already accepted, and So I was just like laughing at that. So that happened. A little bit of a uh, clumsy situation, but yeah. Um,
At least it happened, and congratulations, by the way. I'm pretty sure I've said
Thank
it
you.
before, but congratulate, like, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, hey, look, I took the advice and it actually worked. So, you know what? Gotta thank you for telling me apply secretly at the start of the month. And so anyone here who's trying to get a Twitch partner, apply at the start of the month. That you'll probably get more likely to get picked. So there you
Yeah,
go.
I mean, it really actually is a big thing. And then the other is to not get discouraged if you don't get it the first time, because a lot of times they really look at your analytics, and or if you apply towards the middle or the end of the month, they've already hit essentially like what their quota is. And so it's like I had the same issue, and Sneb had the same issue where like we had both applied towards the end of the month our first time, and I waited a really, really, really long time to apply again because I was nervous. I thought I didn't have it, even though they said they were just going to watch my channel and everything. And I knew I had it, but I felt bad, because it's kind of like,
Yeah.
especially when you're doing something like that, it feels like your worth. Like you've, come so far with these
Y-
things. And, and so one of my biggest some of my biggest advice, so if anybody else in chat is looking for it, is A, beginning of the month really, really helps, and B, um, if you get a decline, don't think, oh, well, it'll make me look better if I don't reapply like right at the end of my 2 weeks when it can come back up again. Like reapply because you might have just missed it because they had too many people already. And if you keep waiting, you might get the same answer, especially if you reapply around like the middle or the end of the month. So if I can give you guys any advice for that, because I know nothing about gold making except I'm going to re-listen to this and actually learn, that would be my advice. So, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think the first time is fine. Wait, one second. My brother is like already took my anyway.
Wait, that's your
He's,
brother?
he's trolling me in your chat. Yeah, that's my brother. Reminds me like take my pills because I have to take them. But yeah, I
Mhm.
already took them. I think like it's fine if you get rejected and things like that.
Right.
Um, it's literally you can apply an infinite amount of times until they eventually just cave in and give it to you. So it's like don't worry about it. And I wouldn't even look at it as like oh I didn't get it, I'm not good enough. Like
Right.
no, like it's like just keep doing what you're doing. You will get it, right? I think they will look at someone who's putting consistent work onto their stream.
Hmm.
And by the way, I think people think that just because you have to have 75 average viewers on all times on every single stream, that means you will only get it at that point. I've seen a few of my friends who got Twitch partner and they don't even average 75 viewers. They were just very consistent for well over a year, and like it was clear that they were actually doing this, putting work into it. So yeah, I don't think the 75 viewer average is actually like a huge priority. I think it's just like a metric for them to go by, but you could still get it with someone who has 50 viewers or 60 viewers. Um,
And you had actually mentioned doing things for the fractal community and doing those competitions. There's already something grades and everything. Do you think when the challenge mode come out for strikes that you'll do something for that community as well, possibly for competitions?
I think I'll look at it. Yeah, I'll probably do. It depends because like I feel like in Heartstock now we're in a point where I think we're in a good point where like there's a couple other streamers that are also doing things. And I think for the longest time it was only maybe Teapot that was running tournaments, and I feel like it's finally to the point where well there's someone else that could do something else, right? Because then Teapot doesn't have to always be running the same or something every single time. So it depends. If someone else wants to jump in on that on Hardstuck, then maybe they could. If no one is, then I will maybe jump in on it. Um, I think as it is right now, I have quite a lot with the GVG and the Fractal community on my side. I think those will be something of a yearly event. So even if I don't do the CMs, someone in Hardstuck I'm sure will take care of it. Pot, Plenix, who knows? Maybe even you could even run it. Whoever is looking to jump in on board on that will run it. So
We'll
there
see.
you go. Yeah, we'll see. Actually, the first tournament I want to run when End of Dragons comes out is a boat racing tournament.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Boat racing tournament. All right, I want to see who's the fastest boat in the east. All right, in Cantha, in the canals. I want to see all those slick turns, maneuvering. I want to see it all. So boat racing tournaments is where it's at. You know, people can have their fishing tournaments. I want the boat racing tournaments.
And I feel like you'll get it. I feel like that'll be popular. Especially since you can kind of almost, like, if you cheese it a little bit, do like skiff bump cars. Yeah, I'm excited.
I think you can. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
actually do skiff bumper cars. Yeah. So
So I've
we'll
kept
see.
you a little bit longer than I had said. And
Has it already been 2 hours? Wow, that's time passes quick.
it's actually just about 2 hours. So if you want to let everybody know where they can find you, and if you do, currently, I know you said that there's a lot going on, but if you currently have some kind of schedule, or what your next bits of content will be other than those events, let everybody know they can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I currently stream about 4 to 5 days on Twitch. You can find me at twitch.tv/GuildMM. I stream on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays at 1 p.m. EST, and sometimes on Sundays, maybe once or twice a month. It depends if I'm not busy. So there's 4 consistent days, and if you're lucky enough, you get me for the fifth day. And I have a YouTube channel. That you can also find me on Guild Space MM. Should probably pop up the YouTube channel. I try to post guides, and there's some podcasts in there, and of course some of the events of my tournaments, the GVG, the Fractal, and maybe a bit of the old things like the fashion shows and stuff like that. I try to be consistent on the YouTube. It's obviously real life is to the point where it's very busy, but I try to put up a guide whenever I can. Do a podcast whenever I can, and run stuff whenever I can. But you can subscribe on YouTube. Tune in. Why not? It's subscribing is free. And then I have a Twitter, which you can find me on Twitter as well, GuildMM1, because someone else actually has GuildMM, which annoys me, but oh well. And then and if you want to ask me any questions, whether related to trading, whether new player, whatever, you can just come in on my stream and ask me those questions, and I'll gladly answer. And if it's something related to something else in the game, I'll also answer. And if I cannot, then I'm sure someone in the stream can help me as well answer those questions for you. And if you really do want to learn how to make gold, or just get into the money making part of the game, and like I've said, you don't have to. You can make a lot of the money playing the game. You just need to learn how to save, and that's all it actually takes. But if you do want to learn just the extra steps, and maybe you want to consider looking at some of these items and some of these things that might require just a bit of attention, I like to think of it as like, if you're going to spend 2-3 hours learning how to play a class or rotation, and you're literally spending 2 hours hitting a golem, why wouldn't you do the same if you're learning how to trade or something? It's just a different thing. The most important part, have fun. Whatever you get enjoyment out of, do that, right? If you don't like trading, that's fine. That's not for you. You don't have to kill yourself for it. There's other ways to enjoy the game and still make money. It's just sometimes spreadsheets is not for everyone. And I can agree, it's a little overboard, but it is what it is. But then you can also make money through other methods that don't even involve spreadsheeting. But if you want to learn any of those methods, whether playing the game or other general money making, spreadsheets or no spreadsheets, you could join Overflow Discord. There's a link in that, but someone can maybe direct you to the Overflow Discord. So I believe there is actually a permanent link now, discord.gg/GW2 Overflow. So you can find us on Overflow and ask questions. Hey, don't be afraid to ask questions. We host lectures there as well. There are some money makers who love to host lectures and teach people different methods of money making in the game. So that is about it. And then last but not least, if you want a community, then join Hardstuck. That's it. Easy. That's the one community I could recommend if you want to do anything and everything, and watch tournaments and just train and have fun and have a good time. Just join Hardstuck. There's a bunch of us streamers there. Xandrii and myself are one of them. So there you go.
I can recommend it too. I vouch for it.
There you
Thank
go.
you so,
It
so
is vouch
much.
approved. Yeah.
And for even rescheduling and dealing with the construction that we had earlier, it was like it's like you talking about doing your an event on the same day as Guild Chat. I'm sitting here going, this couldn't have been like we've rescheduled, and then this couldn't have been a worse day to start. But hopefully it wasn't too bad, and I really really appreciate it. And oh, I'll have to message you after everything too because I'll need if you use like a screenshot or your image to post things on YouTube. And also, if you recorded this or anything, or you want a file for yourself to post it, totally ask or feel free. Yeah, and then I'll need to get that overflow link from you as well, and then any links that you had talked about, like the Guild Wars to efficiency and it was it Guild Wars to the BLT.com.
Yes, there is. I can post that in the chat as well. I'll send you all the links
Yeah,
that
if you
I think
wouldn't
are
mind, that way I
useful for
can,
people. Yeah.
since people
Mm.
obviously watching the video would possibly want to check those out too. So, but thank you very very much. I really appreciate it. And guys, I'm sorry there's no there's no gameplay after this today. We actually are going back out to do some family things in a couple of minutes. So, I do have to take my dog out, and then yeah, I'll see everybody tomorrow for another podcast. It's a podcast weekend, but again, thank you so much, Guild, for doing with this with me. I have actually wanted to ask you all of like these were my questions too, most of them. So I've wanted to ask for
Oh,
quite
okay.
some time.
Oh
Thank
yeah,
you so
glad to
so
help.
much.
Yeah, I hope. I mean, like I gave kind of like a introduction. I try not to go too in depth on everything, simply because that would honestly take hours. But I'm glad I got give like kind of like an introduction into it. And people can just learn, like, you don't have to actually do this to make money. You can make money playing the game, or other small methods that can make things easier for you. And of course, the tryhards are the ones who do spreadsheet, but that is not the be all end all. Yeah, most important, have fun, enjoy, and do what you got to do.
Absolutely. And speaking of Hardstuck, I believe Teapot is still streaming, so I'm gonna send you guys over to Teapot. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. If you're not following myself or Guild, make sure that you do. And I actually have a fantastic, I always forget that I have really good mods that do things like this. So we have a guest command, which we've been having go through this whole thing, so you can find, these are all of Guild's links. Yeah, so make sure that you
Thank
follow
you.
Guild everywhere, except it doesn't have the Overflow Discord, obviously. But I am going to send you guys over to Teapot, and thank you guys so much for hanging out. It's really incredible having people that just want to listen to us nerd out, honestly, because that's all I'm doing is drinking coffee and nerding out. So
That is basically it, right? Like a podcast in an MMO is just being a nerd about the MMO, which honestly is not too bad of a deal. I like
right.
it. Love it.
But thank you guys so much, and I will see you all tomorrow. I think the podcast that I'm doing tomorrow with Pyromancer will be around 2 p.m. Central. I'm not sure if it's going to be live or not, so if it's not, I'll turn on stream after, and we'll do more stuff with the aftermath of Joko, because I just got to that part of the story. But regardless, I will see you guys tomorrow, and yeah, thank you so much again, Guild. I appreciate it.
Thank you.